Welcome back everyone, I'm Craven and this is called Steel, and we are at the start of another chapter, chapter 6 to be precise.
Half a month after the incident at Corellia Fortress, a sense of lingering unease still hung over the Empire.
Like I was gonna say, we are probably going to go back to the Academy after some really massive events at the Fortress. And if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it, it's amazing.
The government increased patrols by the Railway Military Police as part of their counter-terrorism measures, while the Noble faction bolstered their provincial armies. There were even rumors that they'd hired several Jaeger corps. At the center of everything was the Imperial Liberation Front. They had allied with a terrorist group from the Republic of Calvert to attack the trade conference in Crossbell, and as we'd seen firsthand, had attacked Corellia Fortress in an attempt to fire the 2 railway guns stationed there. They'd made it abundantly clear that they were no mere insurgents. These were dangerous people we were dealing with. And following their attempts to target Chancellor Osborne and the Reformist faction, rumors started to spread of a possible connection between the Imperial Liberation Front and the Noble faction itself. Meanwhile, new information was filtering in from Crossbell that surprised us all. During the conference, one of the representatives of Crossbell's state government made the daring declaration that Crossbell would soon declare its independence, breaking free from its neighbors Calvert and Erebonia. To no one's surprise, both the Imperial government and the Noble faction dismissed it as nothing more than delusional raving.
I'm sure it's gonna be more than that, but we'll need to play the Crossbell games in order to get a little bit more information about that, I'm sure.
But one thing was clear. That declaration only served to increase the tension in Erebonia and across the continent.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's gonna be some massive war going on at some point in the Cold Steel series. It's gonna be tense and amazing to witness. And we are back home again. Guess she just wants to be left alone. Lots of people on the roof, and what are all these cars doing here?
On a cool, clear autumn day, the Academy's prestigious board of directors gathered for their first meeting of the year.
Ah, is all the cars of the directors. Nice. Mueller! Is it him? Probably? Well, it would be the first time we saw him in 3D, so I'm not sure, but we'll know.
And that concludes my biannual report.
Good, good. It seems the Academy is running like a well-oiled machine. No administrative issues to speak of. Student performance is sitting comfortably above the national average on exams and on general aptitude tests, too.
The second-year students seem to be having a banner year as well. The Student Council President, in particular, has built up an outstanding array of extracurricular achievements.
Well, she attended last month's trade conference, and from what I hear, she put the professional secretaries to shame.
That's Artoa.
I only wish the conference could have ended on a more positive note.
I'll say, the share prices of my company have been on a real roller coaster ride ever since.
Undoubtedly, what happened at the trade conference has wreaked havoc on the economy as a whole. But moving on. I couldn't help but notice in the recent exam reports that Class 1 and 2's academic performance seems to be slipping. Perhaps the preferential treatment given to the upper class students is hindering their scholastic development?
Governor Agnes, don't let your pre-made opinions about the nobles influence your opinion about Class 1 and 2. But yeah, that could be the case.
Well, students belonging to the nobility are allowed to return home during August to learn more about their family's lands. It's a tradition here, but one I can't help but wonder if we've outgrown the need for in this modern age.
If I may, traditions accumulate and hold meaning only so long as they're preserved. Our nation's culture, its arts, its social classes, all are rich with tradition that makes Erebonia what it is. And I believe we have a duty to protect and uphold them. After all, does not this very institution champion the ideals of its founder, Emperor Drygel's?
Indeed it does. Though I've always understood Drygel's intent to be the founding of an academy for the people. Even 200 years ago, when education was seen as the province of the nobility, male commoners were permitted to enroll. Today, we have plenty of young women attending, and the commoners easily outnumber the nobles on campus. Perhaps it's time we started taking strides to realize Emperor Drygel's true ideal.
Well, the question is more, are the nobility ready for that? Because there's gonna be some major reform here on the Academy if they do that. And the Noble faction, I don't think they will let that go unchallenged.
You seem to be laboring under a few misconceptions here. Commoners were permitted to attend, but only as retainers. Retainers served knights, who served lords, who served the emperor. That's the way the Erebonian society functioned. From that vantage, the structure of the academy in its earlier days certainly seems to have embodied that social order. And if that's so, what is there to suggest that it's not the social order itself that has become the aberration?
Well,
For one, if that were the case, it would be far easier for me to see my views put into practice. But I can hardly get a word in edgewise between you two. Well, I'd certainly enjoy a return to the way things were in Drygel's time, at least in that particular respect.
Our apologies, Your Highness.
well, our role here is to consider your views and work toward implementing them.
See what I mean? Would you be so kind as to help me out here, Principal?
I'm here to moderate this board. It wouldn't do for me to express my position on the issues at hand. That said, I'm sure your passion for reform will triumph in the end, Your Highness.
I suppose I should have known better than to look to my old teacher for sympathy.
It warms my heart to see such a fine teacher-student relationship.
Now, if I may, I'd like to steer this discussion toward a rather timely topic.
Class 7?
We've already touched on the issues regarding the Orbal Net and the Orbal Staves, but I'd like to stress again that the adoption of new security measures for the Orbal Net should be a top priority.
Yes, considering what happened at the fortress, I think that's an absolute necessity.
Well, I'm certainly inclined to agree. But we'll have to rely on the Foundation directly, as things are looking a little shaky with the IBC.
You can leave that to me. The other matter I'd like to review is the use of the Orbal Staves and the Arcus units. Or more specifically, we need to talk about how Class 7 should operate from here on out. Setting aside the fact that my daughter is a member of Class 7, I think we need to reconsider how the class should be run, in light of what happened at Gorelia Fortress.
Didn't we perform admirably there? Because if it wasn't for us, things could have been a lot worse.
While it certainly proved an excellent chance to see what the Arcus units are capable of, I have serious doubts about whether we should carry on with these field studies, given the current political climate.
It would be difficult to do so, I admit. With the terrorists at large and the problems in Crossbell unresolved, these are uncertain times.
At the very least, I believe it may be in the class's best interest to cancel this month's field study.
I wholeheartedly disagree. I'm sure there are some locations we can go to that would not be as politically charged. Because I'm thinking of one location we haven't been to, which is in the region, and we have a member on the board here that actually operates in that region. Why don't we go to Roar? Because that would make the field study a lot more secure from a politically standpoint and be a good next field study. That way we don't have to cancel it. Just thinking out loud.
We could always resume them once the terrorists have been arrested and the situation in Crossbell calms down.
Yeah, but that can take a very long time.
Arise, O youth, and become the foundation of the world. I'm sure you all recognize the words of Emperor Drykos. They become something of a school motto here.
Yes, I think we heard that exact line when the Principal Van Dyke opened up the school year.
It's my belief that Class 7's actions at Corellia Fortress perfectly embody the spirit of that directive. They stood together to stop a tragedy in the making, and, in a sense, protected the foundation of our world. No one ordered them to do it. They took action of their own free will, because they knew in their hearts what was right. Some might call it recklessness. Some may think it rash. Some may even venture to call it hubris. However, as chairman of this academy, I'm incredibly proud of what the brave young men and women of Class 7 achieved.
Your Highness.
Troubled times may lay in store for Erebonia, and for the entire continent in the months and years to come. But I believe that makes something like Class 7's field studies all the more significant. The experiences they're having now will help them find the strength and the means to press on through adversity. I can't be the only one who feels this way, can I?
Well, I generally do, Prince Olivert.
They do seem to be showing remarkable growth. That much is true. Although I have no idea how much my daughter is really capable of, immature as she is.
I could say the same of my hothead of a son.
I do wonder about my brother sometimes. However, it does seem that enrolling at this academy has helped him start breaking out of his shell.
With the Academy Festival coming next month, we hadn't even planned a field study. So the issue at hand is just whether to hold a field study at the end of this month or not. I'd like to ask those in favor of going ahead with this month's field study to please raise their hands.
Let them all be raised, please. I wouldn't mind going to another location. Sixth period special home room.
All right, I'd like to begin by taking everyone's ideas for our class's part in the school festival.
127th Military Academy Festival. So it looks like it spans the October 23rd and 24th. And what's behind there? Yeah, I can't really make it out. It's a bit like a doctor's handwriting and way too small.
The festival will run for 2 days next month, the 23rd and the 24th. Equipment setup and the other preparatory work will begin in the afternoon 2 days before the start of the festival. But there's a lot of preparation needed before we get to that point, and the sooner we get that underway, the better.
That's all the more reason to figure out what exactly we want to do. Some of our options include displays, events, stage shows, and cafes.
I say cat cafe. All with me?
Does that sound right, Crow?
Yeah, though no class I know would settle for just some simple display. I mean, come on, no one ever said, boy, we better rush to get in the line for that display.
Well, either way, I'd like to start by soliciting some ideas from all of you. We're just brainstorming right now, so feel free to say whatever comes to mind.
William has nothing. Drawing a total blank. I'm pretty sure Crow's with me on the cat cafe, though.
Would it kill you all to give just a teensy bit of cooperation?
I know. It's just...
It's kind of hard to focus right now.
You're one to talk, standing up there with your nervous fidgeting.
Well, I can't say I'm surprised. The board of directors is in session as we speak, deciding what'll happen to our class.
And those of us with family members who sit on that board probably have even more cause for concern.
You can say that again. We can't even be sure whether there'll be a field study this month.
That's about the long and short of it. With everything that happened during last month's field study, it honestly wouldn't surprise me if they just canceled it.
I can't say I have any particular feelings of attachment to our field studies. but I refuse to accept needless changes to our curriculum, especially with my brother involved in the decision-making process.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Makes sense to me. We also have to account for the fact that going on our field study means that much less time to prepare for the festival.
So maybe it will still end up being a display?
So as you can see, it presents a bit of a problem.
Man, look at you guys taking this all seriously.
I probably should have asked a little earlier, but... What's this festival you guys keep talking about?
Wait, seriously?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have gone over that for your benefit.
Every year, the students here organize and put on a school-wide festival. There are stage events, food stalls, and all kinds of things to see and do. And it generally falls to each of the first-year classes to provide the main attractions.
Yeah, participating is optional for the second years, since by this point they're usually focusing on their future careers. Oh, and each of the clubs generally get involved too.
Huh, that sounds fun. In that case, we have to do something. We can't just let the other classes roll over us because we're small. You say that, but I've already had one of the girls from Class 1 bluster up to me declaring that this time victory will be all ours.
I'm wondering who that would be,
What? It must have been Ferris. That sounds exactly like something she'd say.
Well, Class 1 does seem to have had it in for us ever since the midterm results were announced.
If it's all the same, I'd rather not see the House of High Arms claim yet another nominal victory. But we need to account for the fact that our class is markedly smaller than theirs is.
That's certainly true.
It'd help if we at least knew what the other classes are doing.
It kind of seems like everyone's having trouble staying focused.
Come on, everyone, get it together.
Instructor Sarah?
Isn't this a self-study period?
Oh, it was. But I thought you all might like to know that the Board of Directors meeting just adjourned a few minutes ago. So I decided to skip along down here and be the first to break the news.
Class 7 is disbanded. No, that would probably not be the case.
Then...
What about our next field study? Are we still on?
The Chancellor's not the only one with a little too much iron in his blood. Because the board voted unanimously to have you continue your field studies.
Nice. I think we have Prince Oliver to thank for that. That speech was really rousing.
You mean it?
So that's how it is.
You know, even though they're always hard work, I actually feel a little relieved.
Considering all that happened last month, we'll need to be especially careful this time around.
Still, it feels like our field studies are a big part of who we are as a class.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're all very relieved and extremely happy to be continuing the way they did. Because even though how hard it is, they are meaningful.
They're kind of a pain, but oh well. We should be grateful to His Highness and the directors.
That's good news.
Seeing the hard road and the easy road, then picking the hard one anyway. That's youth for you.
It also sounded like His Highness and the directors will be taking off in pretty short order. So I'll let you guys out of study hall early to go see them if you want.
Oh.
If you say so.
Sarah could be a nice person if she wanted to.
I think I'll take you up on that.
Mother! Dad! Ah, Machias. I haven't had the chance to talk with you since the summer festival. It sounds like you got quite the heroes at the Guerrilla Fortress. Ah, come on, don't tease us. I'll be the first to admit that we acted rationally, but in the end, I have no regrets. I'm glad to hear it. Ah, It's good to see you again. Likewise, I may feel as far behind us now. You have questions, no? Is all written over your face? I do. You were Legrand, weren't you? To meet Duke Cayenne. Correct. I was hoping to have time to greet you and your classmates too, but I imagine you would rather he not take too close an interest in you. You imagine right. Still, I am concerned. What is the House of Elberea playing at? And not just us. What are the 4 great houses and the rest of the noble factions trying to accomplish? You asked like there's a simple answer. The 4 great houses aren't as united in opinion as you might think. Even with individual families, they can be disagreements. You and I differ with Father on several issues. But rather than worrying about others' positions, I'd suggest giving some thought to your own as a member of the family. I'm surprised you actually managed to make it here. I was expecting a business negotiation to crop up just in the nick of time, just like it always does. Time is nothing you make, not something you find. All the more if you're in a position of responsibility. Lady Alyssa is quite the multitasker herself. You should see her. She has no trouble balancing her time between her studies, training, club activities and hobbies. Of course she doesn't. I'd be disappointed if she wasn't able to manage at least that much. You need to start using your time more creatively, Alyssa, instead of simply doing what's required of you. I saw the railway guns at Corellia, you know, and I saw what those Axines are capable of, and I can understand why Grandfather regretted ever making them. Do you honestly feel things like that are necessary? Are you really okay with that? I think the fact that you've seen enough to ask me that now means that deep down you've realized that they are both necessities of this era we live in. Well, the opinions of others are only that. Stop relying on them so much. Observe for yourself and draw your own conclusions. That's what someone who was truly independent would do anyway.
Still, I wasn't expecting to find myself indebted to you again so soon. Without your intervention, the Chancellor and I would have met our maker in Crossbow.
Don't mention it. We're
just relieved you're all okay, Your Highness.
Indeed. I'm glad you were able to focus on making a positive contribution at the conference.
I wish I could tell you that's exactly what I did. I could scarcely find a place to chime in once the Chancellor and the Republic's President got going. Though the Mayor of Crossbell managed to dumbfound even them.
With a declaration of independence.
I presume you're referring to his proposal for Crossbell's independence?
Hard to believe it could actually happen.
Well, as long as both Erebonia and Calvard refuse to accept it, the likelihood of it actually happening is incredibly low. Still, they're planning to hold a referendum on the issue to see if the population is in favor of it. So there'll be plenty more chances for disputes to break out over the issue.
Well, neither of them want to lose all that sweet tax revenue from Crossbell. Half of it flows into the provinces too, so like, fat chance the noble faction's gonna take that lying down.
Milliam.
I swear, this kid has all the delicacy of a rock to the face.
Yeah, but let's be honest, that's what we like about her.
So you're Milliam, are you? Your name seems to have come up with increasing frequency lately. Well, I was hoping for a chance to see the famous Eric Getlem in action, though.
Oh, sure thing. Come on, Lamp!
Whoa there. Cool your jets.
I'm not sure this is the best place to call out Eric Getlem. Just a hunch.
Lame.
Objection overruled.
That could have gotten messy.
Honestly, it would save us all a lot of trouble if you could just refrain from saying whatever pops into your mind, too.
I think we just have a confirmation that that is who we think it is. And let's be honest, he does look the part.
Lame.
See?
Oh, who might you be?
Say, are you from the Vander family? The one who serves as the prince's bodyguard?
Oh, did Neidhart mention me?
Mueller Vander, of course.
I'm Mueller Vander, a the 7th Armored Division. I was with the Prince at the conference in Crossbell, so I'm in your debt as well. Glad to be able to thank you personally.
Yeah, and the thing I really like right now is, through the entirety of the fortress, I really started to look at the uniforms and Neidhart's in particular, and I thought, this looks remarkably the same as what Mueller was wearing during Trails in the Sky. And now it's all the more clear why.
The honor is ours, sir.
It's an honor to meet a member of the esteemed Vander family.
Ah, so you're the Radiant Blade Master's daughter. And you must be a practitioner of the 8 Leaves, 1 Blade style. I'm always happy to meet fellow students of the sword. Oh, and you must be the young man from Nord who my uncle wrote a reference for.
Yes, that would be me. I owe a lot to Lieutenant General Vander.
It sounds like he's in your debt as well, with everything that happened in Nord a few months ago. Well, you all seem like dependable young men and women. Perhaps the Prince's idea had some merit to it after all.
See? What did I tell you? And it's not just Class 7 either. The whole Academy seems so full of life. Perhaps I should take this opportunity to break down social barriers by getting to know all of them in the Academy's pool.
Oh, don't you go there, Oliver, because we both know what you mean by that.
If you really want to work up a sweat, I'd be glad to let you run back to Heimdall. If you kept up a good sprint, I'll bet you could even make it in a couple hours.
You'd actually make me do it, too. Cruelty. My name is Mueller.
It's like their hearts practically beat in sync.
That's certainly one way to look at it. I wonder how long they've known each other.
In Mueller's opinion, way too long.
Well then, I bid you all a fond farewell.
Likewise, I'm sure, because a little bit of banter between Oliver and Mueller really brought back memories.
I hope we have the chance to meet again soon.
And there were a lot of good memories, definitely. Friday? 3 days has passed since the board of directors handed down their decision. With the assurance that our field studies would continue, we finally turned our attention to the next month's festival. However, losing those couple of days at the end of the month means we had less time to prepare. And no matter how much we brainstormed, we couldn't think of any real compelling ideas our small class could pull off. Eventually. Geez, I can't believe we burned through another week already. But hey, at least it's the perfect weather for a weekend out on the town. I hope you all enjoyed your free day tomorrow. Especially since you've got another practical exam coming up next Wednesday. Couldn't you just send us off with have a good weekend, could you? It just wouldn't be Instructor Sarah if she didn't throw in a little dash of torment. And then we have this month's field study coming up at the end of next week, right? Yep, just like we've been planning. We might have made a few changes to the original itinerary, but nothing major. I'll tell you all about where you headed after practical exam, so until then, keep on guessing. I'm saying Ruhr would be the perfect location. Yeah, we don't need to make it into some sort of dramatic revelation. She always does though. Oh, I can't wait to find out where we're going to go this time. Oh, and by the way, you guys really need to figure out what you're going to do for the festival next month. First years have to participate, so if you can't think of anything, you'll be showing your field study reports instead. What? That certainly wouldn't be my first choice, or even my fifth. Anyway, it's a rep for homeroom, if you'll do the honors, Miss Class President. Oh yes, Instructor. Stand. Bow. Well, I'm sure she was just joking about putting our field study reports on display. I hope. Either way, we need to figure out what we're doing by the start of next week. That sounds wise, especially considering we have our practical exam on Wednesday and our field study next weekend. If that's how things stand, we should make it our goal to at least have some solid ideas by the end of tomorrow. We also need to check what the other classes are planning. If we ended up doing something that was already being done, we'd seem totally redundant. Yeah, we should split up and start gathering some info. But remember, we need to find something that will work with the number of people we've got. Yeah, all the other classes have more than double the manpower we do, easily. And they all seem to have pretty grandiose aspirations at that. If greatness were reliant on numbers, museums would be full of artwork produced by committee. There must be some sort of action we can turn on our lesser numbers to our advantage. Yeah, the question is, what? If we had an easy answer, we wouldn't be spending all this time worrying about it. I'm getting kinda pumped up. Well, a little inter-class competition never hurt anyone. In fact, it might spice things up a bit. Inter-class competition? What if we don't do that for the festival, like an exhibition match? Showing off our fighting skills to the rest of the school means less preparation and could be a big event for the rest of it. We can hold it on the field or something, or in the gymnasium. Would be a great idea. I wonder if they're gonna go in something in like that direction. Still thinking about potentially a cat cafe. Obtain Thor's summer uniform. Standard uniform. So we can choose what we want. Well, this is let's say time of the year accurate. So does that mean that if we go to our costumes we have... Isn't this the same, or... Take it on, take it off. Yes. Well, I think the uniform for the class is mainly if we have like a third option, like casual clothing or something. Then that would be very nice to do. Alright. So I'm guessing we just have to talk to everyone before we head back to the dorm, isn't it? Just like always. And then tomorrow we can start our free day by walking around town, talking to everyone in the hunt for more hidden quests and of course hidden items before heading down to the old schoolhouse, which will always be our object somewhere in the near future when there is a free day. Alright, let's look at who we have on the floor. You see a major cluster of people there. Let's have a look. And I really doubt that we would be able to talk to everyone before the end of the episode, but let's at least make a start of it. Come up with a good idea for us to do for the festival is a lot harder than I thought it would be. Honestly, I'm starting to think that some kind of display wouldn't be that bad, at least in principle. It wouldn't, but that's the go-to idea for so many of the culture-related clubs. That, and I think that beyond the visitors enjoying it, we should do something we enjoy putting together too. True enough. A display-type exhibition would always work in a pinch, but it wouldn't be something we'd get excited about. Agreed. And I'm totally with that point. If we don't have any time left, a display would be our best final option. I just came up with a good idea. Oh, let's hear it. A shooting gallery using real bullets. Only problem is that you put a hole in your prize. Oh, that's the only problem? Yeah, that would never fly on Academy grounds. Oh, but he's going towards the right angle. Dang. Well, I'm out of ideas. Coming up with these is annoying. Maybe think of less dangerous for our next one, okay? But now that you say it, I'm wondering what we could do that we would enjoy working on. We never had customs like this in the North, so it might take a while for me to come up with any useful ideas. Well, do your best, that's the only thing you can do at this point. It took a while, but my arms finally all healed up. I can finally play the violin again, pain-free. It's been so long that I forgot how relaxed I feel while playing it. Being away from a violin so long made me forget just how relaxing it is to play. Now I can finally get back to it and make up for lost time. My class has the coolest idea for the festival, but they're all so mean. You break everything you touch, they said. For the love of idols, please just sit still, they said. I mean, come on. Can you believe that? Sure, I'm a tad accident prone, but they're completely ignoring how helpful I am. Well, fine. I'm busy with something else right now anyway. I'll let them do their own thing. Busy with something else, huh? Is it bad that I'm morbidly curious? No, because I am the same way. What is she doing by herself? And is it for the festival or for her own benefit? I saw Alan headed towards the fencing club earlier. He had this look of determination lately. It's as if he's trying to do whatever it takes to change himself and get stronger. I can't just sit around twiddling my thumbs while Alan's working so hard on his fencing. I'll put so much effort into playing piano that my performances will send tears of joy streaming down his face. Well, I'm sure you can do it. And yeah, we already know what Alan's main goal is. Beating a high arms. Seems like most club activities already have their plans for the festival sorted out. What if we are the only ones who haven't decided on anything yet? Oh, we really need to hurry and figure out what we're gonna do. To tell you the truth, I'd actually like to do another performance sometime. Hopefully we'll get the chance someday. Oh, I'm sure we will. Don't worry about that. I had all but given up on the idea that anyone new would join our club, but then came along Milliam. She's every bit as creative with her cooking as Margarita too. I really couldn't be happier. Our new cook has really added some spice to the cooking club broth. If this keeps up, we might even be able to do something special for the festival. That would actually be really cool. And who knows, maybe Milliam will give us a very creative recipe as well. Milliam, you might want to try being a little bit more gentle. Putting too much strength into it will ruin the whole thing. I gotcha. I know what I'm doing. I have a sinking feeling that she actually doesn't. I have no issue with Milliam taking an interest in cooking. What does concern me though, however, is that she seems to be completely ignoring all of my advice. I just save us. Oh yeah, when she gets her mind to it, she will use lammy for cooking. Hey, when did you end up joining the cooking club, Milliam? Oh, not that long ago. I figured I'd get to eat all kinds of tasty stuff here. Just remember that this is the cooking club, not the eating club. Oh, don't worry. I'm making stuff too. I made the stove blow up the other day. Oh boy. Cooking's actually pretty fun. I can even let Lemmy help me with pounding and flattening ingredients. Please don't do that. I would love to see that though. That will be some major event for the festival. But sadly, no recipes from Milliam, at least not yet. The festival. Couldn't care less. This all just sounds like a ton of work. Where will you find me during the festival? Right here. Working like I always do. I'm free to spend the day however I want. Participation is optional for second years anyway. Ah yes, using the excuse for being a second year. I could have known. Where is this? It's for this floor. Let's head over to the top of the roof. Ooh. Oh, I'm more interested in food stalls than anything else this festival has to offer. It's so much fun to go around trying all the food on offer. My mouth is already watering. What sort of food do you think they're gonna have at the festival? My mouth is already watering. This reminds me of my vacation I just recently had that was over my break last week. Yeah, we went to a lot of markets where there were so many food stalls and so many different nationalities when it comes to food. It was amazing. Yeah, so that would definitely be a really good idea for the festival. Definitely. Seeing Mother at the meeting convinced me more than ever she'll never change. But I still can't believe she's been on the board of directors this whole time. Well, the revelation did kind of come out of nowhere. Did you manage to talk to her at all? Well, technically, yes. She has a way of saying all things I don't want to hear her to say, though. Alyssa. Sorry, don't worry about it. No sense dwelling on the past when we've got plans to make for the festival. I don't want her laughing at me for going on about being independent and not being able to make a simple decision. Yeah, you're right. Well, to be honest, I think her mom just wants her to create a life for her own, not just follow something that she thinks she needs to do for the family or for the community or for the academy. She wants her to make her own decision no matter what that is. And basically, isn't that what most parents want for their kids? Creating a future of their own? Well, unless you're nobility probably, because then they just want you to follow in the family's footsteps. Alright, so that's 2 floors down. I'm gonna go by the outer sides. Let's do the last floor as well. So we can have this entire building sorted. Damn, it's pretty busy today. Feels like everyone is in the academy today. I'm really looking forward to what Class 7 does for the festival. You will come from a wealth of different backgrounds, each with your own unique experiences. In that regard, I'd like to see something that only such a gathering of individuals could do. Well, we really need to pull off something great now that we're facing these kinds of expectations. But he does make a valid point. We are the only class comprised of nobles and commoners from all over the continent. If we use that to our advantage, it would be a unique event that no other class would do. So he's not totally wrong about this. Class 7 received high praise during the board of directors meetings too. I hope to see something that only gatherings of individuals like yourselves could do. Well, we'll do our best, I can rest assured. Yes, if possible, I would like to guide some children from town through the festival. Ah, my Rosine, you're certainly jumping into the sister lifestyle with both feet, aren't you? Well, I see no issue with that, so go round up those kids and bring them along. What a relief. Thank you so much, instructor. Ah, not at all. Not at all. Keep up the good work at the church. I plan on nominating myself to take the children around this year's festival. It should be the perfect opportunity to get to know them a little better. And I know one kid who would be amazingly pleased with that. Ah, it's customary for the sisters to escort children without parental supervision around the festival. I am absolutely sure that you're the perfect sister to do so this year. Do we have anything new? Ooh, yes we do. Ah, the list is getting quite large, isn't it? Means we're getting through our recipes rather quickly. Ah, dear me, I've never seen such a dish quite like this before. This will definitely help with my research. If you discover any more curious cuisine, please visit me once again. We still have a little bit more. Will this last one grant us a reward? Oh my, I've never seen a dish quite like this before. Thank you for your continued support of my research. Here's a little gift in exchange. I hope you'll help like you have helped me. Thank you very much. Can't wait for the final reward after we gathered all recipes and made them. Try and come up with an idea for the festival soonish, okay? Though I guess that's easier said than done, what with the board of decision to go forward with your next field study. I know. We're pretty limited on the time we can to devote to brainstorming. Well, either way, better to have some few ideas knocking around sooner instead of waiting till the last minute. The longer you take, the more the vice principal's angry rantings I'll have to endure. We'll do everything we can. Time is a way of getting away from you, you know? That deadline's gonna be knocking on your door before you realize it. You'll have all the work twice as hard as the other students now that you've given the go-ahead for your next field study. That is so true. The Epstein Foundation saying that they found a vulnerability in their main OS. It might be in ours too, actually. I'll have to take a look and fix it up if I find it. I've never really mentioned this, but you're pretty amazing with computers, Instructor Makarov. I guess. It's all such a pain though. I really rather not have to do this stuff. Where's that? It's probably unnecessary since our computers aren't connected to any outside networks. Might as well try to avoid anything that could be trouble though. And that's the right thing to go at it. Because even if you're not connected to the network, at some point you might be. The first board of directors meeting went rather well. Although I was surprised to hear that they won't be cancelling your field studies. A reckless decision, if you ask me. Just what do they plan on doing should any incident occur off campus? Same thing we've been doing the entire time already. Deal with it. What do you want? You won't be getting any festival advice from me. Oh, hello, Instructor Neidhart. Glad to see you made it back to the academy. Indeed. All matters related to the attack on Guerrilla Fortress has been taken care of, so I'm free to return. I apologize that I was unable to teach you for such an extended period of time. Oh, don't worry about it. Instructor Sarah did a fine job of filling in for you. Is that so? I'll be sure to thank her later. Not the type to leave debts unpaid, is he? By the way, I heard that Mueller was present for the board of directors meeting. I can only imagine that accompanying Prince Oliver is a constant struggle. Perhaps that's just the Vander family's fate. It truly is. But let's be honest, those two together, just perfect, isn't it? It pleases me to see how well Prince Oliver is doing. He was quite the troublemaker during his time at the academy. I never thought I'd see him holding onto a firm set of ideals and working so hard. It's a pleasant surprise. Yeah, I can bet that he was a lot like Angelica back in the days. It's hard to believe that 8 years have passed since he graduated. He's grown up into a fine man indeed. Well, he still has his quirks, but let's be honest, that's what we like about him. Oh, I can't help but be nervous while sending off members of the board of directors. Each one is so demanding that their visits are few and far between. Since they're all VIPs, I need to muster up all my confidence to even say hello. Phew, just thinking about it is so exhausting. Prince Oliver will be intimidating enough on his own, but everyone else on the board is a VIP too. I suppose no surprise given the man who founded the academy. True.
Beloved Vincent, whatever will you be up during the festival? Wouldn't it be splendid to use the event to spend some quality time together?
Maybe. I hope he does.
I'd have nothing more than to spend the festival snuggled up to my darling Vincent. Oh, perhaps he'll stop by my class to see what we're up to.
Maybe we can push him in that direction. Talking of the festival brings back memories of our play last year. My first appearance on stage could be linked to a breathtakingly beautiful butterfly bursting forth from its cocoon. So wonderfully charming. I was that ladies in the audience had to shut their eyes to resist swooning over me.
Some might say that your acting simply put everyone to sleep.
You may be unaware, however. What's this feeling of impending doom?
Yeah, I think we know what feeling you have of impending doom. His acting last year was truly a sorry sight. One can only hope that our operetta is worlds better.
Oh, so they're doing an operetta. So we have learned some extra information from that. I think that's actually the first idea we hear from other clubs, isn't it? Yeah, the academy's been pretty lively lately. You can really tell we're closing in on the festival. I've got my own things to take care of beforehand, but just let me know if you need a hand with anything. The festival only rolls around once a year, so do your best make it count. Hell yeah. Alright, I think that's all of the main building. So you know what that means? Yes, we're going outside and mentally prepared to do the rest of the academy grounds, and assume that once we leave the academy grounds we'll be ending the day. Maybe. We'll see. So, for now I'm going to leave it here. So, until next time, I wish you all a great night, morning, day, wherever you are. And if you're still here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and be back next time as we continue a walk around campus, just talking to everyone like we normally do, and see if we can find some more hidden books, recipes, or quests like always. See you then. Bye bye.